This is episode 22 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we have two guests this time.
I know, that's a Out of the Minds first, I believe.
Well, no, we had like three when we did the points one.
Oh, but they don't count. This is just properly reviewing a game, so... Anyway, the guests.
I believe it's getting out of hand. Now there are two of us. Chris Burnett is here.
And Sean O'Neill is here.
Okay, so...
Oh, God. This is the most awkward podcast start we've ever had. But let's get into the game.
This is professional.
Oh, no, Tin Squadron. What was it? Tin Squadron aiming for near professionalism.
We're aiming for as professional as AMG.
As accurate as a stormtrooper.
That's too low a bar.
So, this evening we're going to review a game that Sam and I have just finished playing. And we're both going to the GSP Alderaan final next weekend. And I'm not particularly sure either of us were planning on taking these lists, but it was a bit of fun just to have a ponder.
I mean, you never know.
And right after we'd set up, and we were literally just about to go on the first turn. In fact, I think we'd set dials, and AMG dropped their post about how they're doing random player order. So we thought, why not? We'll give it a go. So yeah.
Spoilers, it's not like anyone had ever foreseen.
So for anyone who hasn't seen it by the time this podcast comes out, and I'd imagine most of you have, at the start of each round, and also at the start of setup, each player rolls 3 dice. The player with the most crits is first player. In the case of a tie, the player with the most eyeballs is the first player. And then in the case of still a tie, the player with the most hits is first player. Which, let's start off, that's a really random order of doing it. Why didn't they just go crits, hits, focus?
There are less focuses than hits, I don't know.
Maybe.
Why didn't they just flip a coin?
But yeah,
Because
so
you don't have a coin as part of the starter set.
There's an initiative counter, isn't there? It's got 2 colours.
there isn't, yeah. I don't think I've seen that for...
Anyway, this lets them write 3 paragraphs of text when they just needed to write 1 line, and maybe they just like writing lots of text.
Yeah. But, so Sam and I had brought these lists not knowing what the other was bringing. And I've...
Oh, the irony.
I know. So I've gone for a 2-ship list. People who listen regularly will know I like flying Rey and Poe. And I've done a slightly different version to my normal. So this time I've got Poe. It's Trigger Happy Poe. And he's got backwards tail slide, R4, primed thrusters, overdrive thruster, the integrated S-foils, Black One, and Protorps. And the kind of thinking behind that is that with his foils closed, he can focus into a 2 straight barrel roll, and then because of prime thrusters and his ability, he can then do a 2 straight or bank boost as well. And, really get anywhere he wants. And because of backwards tail slide, he can go through obstacles. And if he jumps it, gets a free evade. That's that, basically. And then I brought Rey. Rey's got the sort of standard Rose, Core, Finn title. She's also got Shattering Shot and a rigged cargo chute.
I'd forgotten you had that.
What?
The Shattering Shot.
That's because it didn't trigger once, and the one time I thought I might get it, I misjudged.
What obstacles did you bring, by the way?
Right, so now this is where we were actually just picking obstacles at the start because we hadn't sort of decided on 3, and I realised that there isn't a perfect obstacle selection for this because Rey wants debris fields, but Poe wants gas clouds because he can jump through them with much less consequence. So I ended up bringing 2 gas clouds and 1 debris field.
Interesting.
I think if I was to run this list again, I think I'd trade out Ray for probably Han and load up Han instead and just go double I6. Because then you could just bring the 3 gas clouds.
It's fair.
But...
although maybe we're doing spoilers into how the game goes. Who knows? We'll have to find out.
Oh, it's not so much that. I just think why cripple yourself at the turn 0 list building stage?
Yeah.
Like, they both want to go through obstacles, but they both want to go through different obstacles. Because if Poe will end up triple stressed if he goes through a debris and does his shenanigans, and then it becomes a lot harder. And spoilers, as you'll see. But anyway, Sam, your list.
Yeah. So TLDR, I brought 2 double tapping Sith infiltrators. I've got Darth Maul with Hate, Proton Torpedoes, Palpatine Crew, Seismic Charges, and Hull Upgrade. And Count Dooku with Hate, Proton Torpedoes, Zam Crew, General Grievous Crew, Proton Bombs, and Scimitar. So every point of damage you deal to my ships is worth 10 points-ish. And the idea is I have lots of force, I have easy ways to get target locks, and I can both of these ships can double tap and throw out a lot of damage. Enough said.
Pretty much.
And I brought the 3 rocks because I didn't want to bring debris because I figured Sean was bringing resistance, and resistance usually likes debris and gas clouds more than rocks. So I have 3 large rocks.
Nice. Okay, so setup. As I say, we set this up assuming we'd be playing a normal game. And we've basically got a rock, a debris, and a gas cloud along your board edge at range 2, Sam.
Yeah.
And then sort of a gas cloud and the finger rock in the middle of the board. And then the large rock down towards my bottom left as I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
And then ship-wise, you've got Dooku in the corner facing forwards and Maul slightly to the side at 90 degrees.
Yeah, and I've used the Scimitar title to cloak Dooku at the start of the game.
And I've got Poe on the far opposite corner, and then Rey just on the inside of the rock that's down in that corner. Okay, so yeah. This was the point where we suddenly went, hey, let's do the RPO rules, because it'll be fun. So let's see how it goes. So yeah, here we go.
So yeah, Sean and Chris, if you have any comments, just feel free to comment, because we can basically pause the game at any time. And in our first roll, I become first player as I roll 2 crits.
Pretty much.
Wasting them on no shooting.
Absolutely.
So when Sam is first player, that basically means he moves his entire list before mine. As he's a 3 and a 5, and I'm a 5 and a 6. And he just 1 forwards and turns Maul in behind.
Bumps Maul into the back of Dooku and just chilling out.
Yeah, Rey just does a 1 straight, gives her options of which side to go. Poe shoots forward, focuses into a boost, try and get some distance, try and get away from Rey so that I can sort of pinch her from both sides. Right, we'll just skip through the...
And then Sean gets first play because he rolled 2 focuses. And I try for a barrel roll. I moved back to try for a barrel roll and it fails. So my thought behind that was I wanted to see whether either I was going to make it, or B, I would be like, okay, I'll know that the decloak would fail that way if it didn't make it. Because I still want to slow roll my guys around the corner, and I don't mind them being stressed at the minute.
Yeah, that's why I've turned Rey away to give myself a bit more time. Post continuing to shoot up the board edge and barrel rolling behind rocks. out from behind rocks, shall I say, to go up towards your board edge, basically. And Sam rolls another crit.
So rolling the crits means you go first, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
most crits goes first.
So you don't actually want to roll crits.
Nope.
I don't particularly want to roll.
You
crits.
want to roll
Okay.
blanks.
Yeah. It's counterintuitive.
Yeah, so Dooku gets a lock onto Ray, and I don't think Maul's in range, so he just focuses.
Ray sloops. Give herself a bit of distance. Attempts a boost,
Sam?
but that...
Yes.
If Ray had gone first this round, and then you moved, would you have done anything different than focus?
No, because my options were only because the scimitar's options are target, lock, focus, barrel roll, and because
Okay, that's fine. And you can't barrel roll where you are.
yeah,
Okay. That's fine. I'm going to ask questions like that because I think that's going to be relevant. Going forward.
No, for sure.
so and pose there. And I think there's no shooting, and I do minus was the turn that kind of decided the flow of the game was coming up.
Yeah. And I think I actually make two mistakes with both my ships, basically, on this turn. And ironically, one of the mistakes is a mistake that I changed my mind halfway through my action, and Sam very kindly let me go and change it because we were testing.
So looking at this turn now, how are you both feeling about your engagement? Sam, are you happy? Sam, are you happy being in the channel you're in? And Sean, are you happy knowing that you've got a gas cloud in front of you for Ray, or Poe not having the easiest of turn-ins?
Well, I think Poe's fine because Poe can just bank in with a one bank, then can target lock or focus, can barrel roll, with a 2 straight either side, or a barrel roll 1 to the right if he needs to, 2 to the left. Because of prime thrusters, I could focus into a barrel roll and then boost in if that put me in the side at range 1.
Yeah.
So, and if needs be, if they turn in after Poe, I can one bank, focus into a barrel roll towards the top of the board, and then 2 bank away behind the gas cloud.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm reasonably happy with Poe and Ray. Yeah, I think Ray's got options. She can go left of the gas cloud. She can go right of the gas cloud. She can just sit in behind the gas cloud.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's fine. It's just I'm just interested. That was all.
And for me, I'm perfectly fine here. I will admit I did almost go after Poe this round. Spoiler, I don't. But in my head, I'm like, well, Dooku's got the decloak, so he's already in Ray's face.
Yeah,
because I can decloak forward and then I can be in Ray's face and annoying her. And all Maul has to do is one straight, and then either Poe overcommits coming in, or if Ray's gone fast, then Maul may have a target lock for the proton torp, or at the very least has his primary, which you can double tap if you miss.
Yeah. See, although I remember that Dooku's cloaked and can decloak, I just forgot how far forward you're going to get with a decloak large base 1 forward.
Yeah.
It's so spoilers. Ray 1 forwards this turn.
Yeah. Both of my ships 1 forward as well, and I end up past that gas cloud.
Yeah. Because my thoughts were Ray can 1 forward. I didn't think Sam would come in that fast because I didn't think about the large base decloak 1 forward. And then I thought that still gives me options of just shooting through the gas cloud on the next turn, banking down. What I had considered with Ray was a 3 bank through to the right, back through the gas cloud rock. I know it fits because I've just 3 slooped from there. And then with 2 stress, I still could have boosted away if needs be. But I was concerned about Sam basically turning in. I thought Dooku does a 2 hard to the left.
Did you consider a bank to the left?
I did, but again, as if Sam calls that, then he just comes forward and I'm sat in front of them again. I thought
that's where Ray wants to be.
I thought with the gas cloud, okay, we don't get the free evade anymore, but the extra dice on Ray is going to make a big difference.
true.
But it doesn't, as you will shortly see.
Sorry.
No,
I
don't
will say, for your thoughts on the turn-in, Sean, is that because I'm cloaked, Dooku turning down that way is basically not possible because
I know that's hindsight.
yeah. No, I'm just saying, like for a cloaked ship, like because okay, yes, Dooku can decloak in the engagement phase, but if you let me do that in that situation, that's more on you than me.
Well, yeah, that's true. So Sam
Who
takes
wins
first
this
cloak.
draw?
So I roll 2
Sam
focuses,
does.
so I go first. I decloak, and then I do a 1 straight, and I focus because I've already got the target lock
Okay.
from the previous turn, and then Maul does a 1 straight and focuses.
Okay. Right there. If you had gone second, would you have took a target lock instead of the focus?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, yeah, I would have taken a target lock instead of a focus, but like in this, I'm fine with either. Is the thing.
Okay.
So
Because yes, I want to fire the proton torpedoes, but it's not the end of the world if I don't. I still have the 3-dice gun.
yeah. So
If I was all in on the torpedoes, I would be more pissed.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Ray 1 forwards. I looked at the boost, but it's not going to clear the gas cloud, so she just takes a focus. And Poe does do the 1 bank. And so I initially target locked Dooku and focused, and then I kind of changed my mind and asked Sam if he minded if I reversed it. And I moved the lock to Maul because I realised I can focus into a barrel roll. Which I've just realised watching this I can't actually do. So you would have won this game anyway, Sam, because I'm cheating.
Why
there.
not?
Because Poe's treat it as red, isn't he? So the focus would have been red. Oh no, prime thrusters. That's why I did it. I
Prime
can do
thrusters,
it.
That's why you.
You know, that whole 10-point upgrade that I'm just forgetting about while we review the game. So yeah, that's given me an uncontested
Right.
torpedo shot into Maul. I'm not sure if that's the. Maybe I should have just launched it into Dooku.
I would have thought you'd have perhaps gone too straight with Poe and then boosted in around the back of the debris field into the
Yeah, that was another option.
into red, and got a bit closer, got
Well-
a better shot.
Well, yeah. I mean, my thoughts, like, because if Sam had turned up towards Poe, which he considered doing,
Mhm.
with the 1 bank, I could have barrel rolled inside the debris field
Mhm.
and then boosted away. So I felt that gave me more options to basically counteract whatever Sam does. And because I've got the torps on there, I didn't necessarily need to be up close at the moment.
I don't fault you for going after Maul, but I do think that with the 2-ship list you've got, you would have benefited from the focus fire or trying to take down
Yeah.
1 ship.
That yeah, exactly. And I think
And
I think I said it to Sam in the game. Like as soon as I attacked
Yeah.
Maul, I was like, no, I should have focus fire Dooku because I could, I could already tell Ray's in trouble. So I should have just punched as much through onto Dooku because Sam's actually got quite a lot of good ways of just not taking damage. So
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so at this point, I'm actually quite happy because, partially because I know that yes, Ray's presumably going to throw a hammer at Dooku. That's and that's just the price it is. But my secret reason for being happy is I took a focus action this turn and already have a target lock. So if I'm not at range 1, I get to fire the proton torpedo, then I can spend the lock for free because it means it's going to hit, and Dooku can just take another lock with his pilot ability. So I'm very, very happy with this turn. And the person I want to be taking the hits is taking the hits because Grievous has the ability to come back and be another hull upgrade. But anyway, yeah, here's the proton torpedo into Maul.
So I end up with 2 hits and a crit. Sam rolls an evade, uses Grievous, takes 1 damage from a protop.
No, I take 2 damage because this is into Maul. Then
did you?
I spend a
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
take 2 damage, and I spend a force to give you a 3rd stress, thanks to Palpatine.
And that move, I think, was clutch to making Poe's game 10 times harder.
I think this little turn of events wins me the game, if I'm going to be brutally honest.
Quite possibly, because it's so hard for me to shrug off 3 stress. As you'll see, in fact, I don't think I do. I get down to 1, and then I keep having to double reposition. And yeah, whereas if I'd just had the 2, I could have got rid of them, and it opens up Poe's dial more.
Throws hit crits, and then Ray spends force and a focus to dodge 2 of them, and takes a lock onto Maul. And then you shoot range 1 at Dooku.
Yeah. Add the blank, move the lock, spend the lock, and then
spend a force.
Spend a force.
I spend my focus to get 1 evade, so I take 2 in total because I spend my Grievous charge to take away 1 of the hits. And I believe I get all the force back because awesomeness.
So yeah, Ray loses her shields and takes a crit, and it's a structural damage.
Yeah. Then we remember that I have the Zam, and so we roll back, and I get the Zam charge back. I already had the lock onto Ray, so that May trigger didn't matter. And then I put some damage into Ray, and I spend, like I said, spend a force to reacquire the target lock onto Ray, so I can very predictably 2-sleep next turn, and chances are throw a proton torpedo again.
So yeah, between us we roll 4 crits.
Yep, but Sean has a focus, so he wins. I drop a seismic charge from Maul. Dooku does a 2-sleep.
So I do a 2 hard here, and then I drop my red cargo chute because I've not played with them that much, and from having them in my little foam at home, I remember them being quite large. Actually, to be fair, I'm literally holding one now, and it is quite large. I was hoping it would just poke out enough to obstruct the shot onto Dooku.
I'm honestly shocked you didn't boost.
Well, there we go.
I'm pretty sure boost just takes you out of range.
Oh, I wasn't sure. Maybe. But yeah.
Did you just lose the damage as your the crit?
What?
No, that's structural.
It's
Sorry.
structural, yeah.
Structural, yeah.
Then I turn Maul in after everyone. Sean forgets that prime thrust is a thing, and until I remind him, and then barrel rolls out of range the seismic charge.
It's not that I forgot. It's just I thought it was if you have less than 2, not if you have 2 or less. So, yeah. But yeah, barrel roll, and no, I freely admit that prime thrusters was worth its 10 points any day of the week in this game. I just needed to play a bit better.
Did prime thrusters get you into the trouble in the first place, though?
No.
Because you had the extra stress that what you shouldn't have when you then shot more.
Yeah.
Then you'd So,
but
did they actually get you into more trouble than what they would have done?
Yes and no. Yes, because they're the reason I had 3 stress. But no, because if I'd focused fire into Dooku, that wouldn't have happened anyway. So okay. I'd argue that's more not remembering your opponent's cards and how they'll interact, and I should know that because Sam loves dishing out a stress with Palpatine.
I mean, the irony is literally at the start of this game, I looked at Sean's list and I was like, oh, Palpatine's bloody useless here. Like, Poe doesn't care about stress because of prime thrusters, and Rey never cares about stress. How awful. And then it wins me the game, pretty much, because Poe is out of it for a few turns.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, so in the sense that without them, I couldn't have had the 3 stress. Yes, they got me into trouble. But again, I think making better choices the turn before would have made the difference. And but
can you reverse back a minute? Sorry, to see where so after where Dooku had moved, but no one else had.
Why? I can. It's slightly awkward.
Sorry, if it's awkward, don't worry about it.
No, it's fine. Right. So yeah, rolling. So Dooku will move.
Yeah, assign a Zam card, drop a seismic charge, and Dooku will move to there.
Why didn't you sloop with Ray to the right? You got structural anyway, so getting a strain isn't going to affect things. But then you've still got your front gun, knowing that you're going to be burned down.
Because my initial thought. Well, see, my initial thought was the too hard.
It's just
The too hard doesn't overlap anything, and then I'd have options to boost left, or my initial thought actually was to boost to the right.
Yep.
And go back around that rock, because Maul, if Maul turns in as he does, is then sort of limited on his next turn. And then
I only ask because then you're more limited, because your front, all Ray's shenanigans out the front are essentially nil and void for the next 3 turns, at least.
Why the next 3 turns?
Because if you're too hard now,
Yeah,
and then even if you boost, you've still not got room to sloop. So you've got at least another turn there, and then maybe the next turn they're relevant.
Yeah. Because if I too harded and boosted, then I could have hard turned back round and boosted again.
But you still haven't got
would bring her front.
Yeah.
Well, it would, wouldn't it? Two hard turns and a boost would get you almost 180. It'll do a 270 and a bit.
Yeah, if they're still in your front, that's.
Well, if they're
I'm only asking. Yeah,
if they're not in my front,
if
they're not in my front at that point, then they're not chasing me, and then I'm not getting shot. So that's kind of win-win. No, I agree that maybe a sloop. I was more. If I'd boosted, and in hindsight I should have boosted, it meant I would only be taking 1 shot, not 2.
Yeah, okay. That's a big difference.
I genuinely thought the shoot would obstruct the attack, which A is fine for me because I can just shattering shot through it.
Yeah.
But then gives me the extra dice on Ray. And I wasn't sure if a turn in from Maul would catch Arc unless he went, just banks in front of the gas cloud.
Okay.
If he hard turns, I thought that might swing his Arc round a little bit too much.
Yeah. I also wonder about the Poe turn in here, because you obviously, having gone forward a bit, you disengage Poe.
Yeah.
What about the 2 bank in tight round the debris field to keep him in the fight? Because it feels like he goes out on a limb and he can't really contribute for a little while he clears that stress.
Yeah. So with Poe, it was more if Sam had decided to not ignore Ray, but say slooped Maul to go after Poe, then because I had 2 stress, I'd only be able to do 1 reposition, and it would only be a 1 speed reposition.
No, you could still do 2.
How?
Because your first boost would be unstressful, and your second reposition would be stressful.
That is true. Well, there you go, learning new things.
Like, that's why I didn't go after him, because I was like, he'll do a blue maneuver, then he can be wherever the heck he likes.
Because that's me thinking that I can only do it in less than 2, hence why I didn't think I could barrel roll. So yeah, that was the thought process behind that. I was also worried that I expected at least one of the ships to turn around, and I was just generally worried that Poe may get away with it this turn, but the next turn wouldn't have enough options of places to go with 2 large bases chasing him.
True.
I also know how, I don't want to say ridiculous, but ridiculous the scimitar dial is for a large base.
It's a good dial.
Yeah. But this game is very much I made quite a lot of mistakes, so.
Sorry, this isn't a Bash Sean episode, I'm sure.
Oh no, it's fine. It's why we review these. I'm just trying to explain my thought processes at the time.
Yeah.
They are
absolutely.
They are, incorrect. Well, not all of them are incorrect, but that's why we review it. I'm still not sure about the turn in with Poe, to be honest.
I mean, I will say one thing: if let's say Poe two banks in behind that debris and then shoots at Maul again,
Yeah.
like then Poe is never relieving that stress because I will just put another stress on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I'd still, if it was me, I'd still gamble on putting some damage through, even if it's
That's true.
it's-
I do
yeah.
only have one agility, so eventually I will die.
I'm typically quite aggressive in terms of how I play anyway, so that's probably why.
I have to admit, I normally am very aggressive, and normally it screws me over. So I'm trying to teach myself to not be as aggressive. And I was like, at this point, I was like, I know Ray's in trouble, but I thought if I can do enough damage that I get either one near death or trade Ray for one, then Poe's just got. I'd much rather have Poe at full health and taking his time and just coming in and then plinking here and there and doing Poe stuff. And to be fair, at this point, we still had the better part of an hour. So I thought there was time.
Yeah, although I think with that line of thinking, Ray wants to be doing the 3 sleep and just saying, right, if I'm dying, I'm bringing an infiltrator with me.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, especially in this matchup, where literally, if Ray trades for an infiltrator, yes, I'm technically winning, but I guarantee whichever infiltrator I have left isn't catching Poe.
Yeah, but Poe's still got to come in and half it.
True.
Because, Ray's 1 point more. But
let's see how it goes.
So yeah, I do the shoot stuff. Scoop that through, Maul turns in. And we're still, Sam and I at this point think Maul's arc is damn close on whether he's in or not. So yeah, seismic goes off, does nothing. I get sad because none of my shots are obstructed.
That's rubbish.
So,
I mean, trying to get them all shots obstructed, I feel like is a bit of a wish.
No, but so I've got range 2 into Maul here, or range 3 to Dooku with a lock. So I end up taking the Dooku shot because it's modded, and I can try and keep the force for defense because I know I'm taking at least one shot. What I kept doing was forgetting about the bleeding protorps, and I just thought Sam would be throwing 3 dice at me, and yeah.
Yes. I see the shenanigans there.
2 into Dooku, and I evade 1, take a damage. I think I possibly forget a hate trigger there, but whatever. Anyway, I fire a Protorp at Ray, and spend a bunch of force. 3 hits and a crit. All goes through onto Ray, because structural damage, and then Dooku does the exact same thing.
And Ray dies. 2 Pro Balls into her structural damage. She's dead.
I spend a force to take an action in the vague hope that Poe is in range, and I am wrong, so I lock the cloud.
That went dramatically badly for Ray.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at that point, I knew she had the structural damage. And in hindsight, I probably agree with you, Chris. Sleeping would have been the better idea because A, she can punch out, and B, she'd have at least been able to add a blank on defense, which meant I could have raid it for an evade. I don't think it would have helped in the end. There's so much force on those 2 infiltrators that the Protorps are almost guaranteed 4 hits.
You just don't want to take them head on, do you? Or or if you do, it's 1 at a time.
Yeah.
Or with jams.
I will say my list falls apart if there's more ships than me.
Yeah. Like if I brought the 3X and Kaz list, I think I would have.
I think I might still try to joust it, but I think I'd lose.
Honestly, I wouldn't joust. I'd split up.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, Poe versus the world. My favourite way to play.
Double stressed.
Double stressed.
Yeah, so Dooku turns in, target lock. And then Maul does a sloop.
So Poe turns in and boosts into a barrel roll because I thought it might just get me out of Dooku's arc.
Right.
I didn't think I was in range of Maul. And yeah, I was hoping the 2 would just sneak me out. I am denied about just doing a one barrel roll where I was. And in looking back at it in hindsight, I'm wondering whether a 1 straight boost instead of the curve might have done it, but
Yeah, I think not.
But yeah, so I have Dooku and shoot for 2 and put another 1 through. And then
Full Zam charges.
So for anyone not watching the YouTube, it's millimeters, isn't it, Sam, on the in. So
I mean, I thought you were out until I checked.
So yeah, that was.
But I got you.
A little gutting because here comes a protop. Oh, and lo and behold, it's 4, and Poe rolls nothing. Takes a direct. Is on 2.
That's game.
And it's times like that I miss heroic.
Yeah, but if you'd had heroic, you'd have rolled 1 focus.
Oh yeah, that's true. But it's this is the problem. This entire game after the first engagement, I've not been able to get down to less than 1 stress, but I've always been at 1 or 2. So if I hadn't have taken that the Palpatine stress, I would have been down to 0, which then frees me up to focus, which would have made a difference. And
I feel as though although the prime thrusters are allowing you to do the double reposition, I feel that having them are causing more problems for Poe in the first place because you're not getting mods. And because he's got no way of getting the mods, I feel that it's a trap that although the prime thrusters you're using and making work, it's allowing the trap to continue.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, to be honest.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
I would say
because I feel Ferrosphere Paint would have done you a lot better here in that slot. Because he wouldn't have been wanting to get locks on you because he very rarely had you in bullseye, and that would have then shut down the Scimitar's dial a lot more, which then would have allowed you to boss this engagement.
Yeah, that's true.
Although this is talking about this specific match.
I was going to say, let's be honest, how often are we going to see double infiltrator?
This is true, but we do see a lot of stuff that has target locks, especially in the environment we're in at the moment. There's more stuff coming in that takes target locks, and you need mods with Poe. You're going to need a focus there for defense, even if you don't want it for offense, to keep him alive. And when you're spending 100 points on him, you need to keep him alive if you can.
No, I mean,
and it's kind of.
I was going to say, I know the backwards tail slide is fun, but would it not be better to be just Predator?
Yeah, or heroic.
Heroic, probably.
Also,
or Lone Wolf.
I'm thinking tail slide is also another slight trap because it's going over a gas cloud or a debris field. Great, it's cool, but you got that stress token, or you potentially get that strain or suffer some impact from it. So it feels like that's potentially a trap. It's very cool, very cinematic.
Yeah, it's more the with that combo. It's more the fact that Poe could theoretically reposition wherever he wants, and it's also a lot of people bring gas clouds at the moment, or have been. Okay, I'm not sure what they'll do with the current changes to the rules on them. But if I go through a gas cloud and land the other side, I gain an evade token. Mm-hmm. So even if I take a strain, I'm then obstructed. So I've got the same defense dice with an evade.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it is just me chasing janky stuff, it probably is. I have a tendency to do it. but it's one, it's one of those on paper, yeah, it's great, and hence why, I realistically don't think I'll play this list. I just wanted to play something fun.
No, that's fair.
And it's stuff I haven't really played before, so I wanted to see how it interacts. But yeah, sorry.
Go on.
No, carry on.
No, go on. I was going to say, with the backwards tail slide then, knowing that in the back of your mind with how it can operate, with you could jump through an obstacle or if the situation needs it, does that affect the way that you fly, knowing that you can do it? Whereas normally you go, well, I can't go through that, so to keep my options open, I'm going to go to this position instead.
No, because I kept forgetting it was there.
Okay,
so I genuinely think if I remembered it was there, I would have played a lot differently. And I can't say better or worse, but I think obviously because Sam's brought rocks, that even getting an evade, I don't want to take the 50-50 chance of damage. No. And I think I should have just stuffed Ray and brought 3 gas clouds. I think that would have made a difference. The fact that Sam's seismic 1 off the board was great for him as well, because then all of a sudden there's pretty much just 1 that I would go through, and we're not really engaging near it. So, but yeah,
sorry, don't mean to be a bit of a random. Don't
apologise.
List again.
No, this is great. This is why we do this, is to look at these things, and all criticism and advice is welcome. Let's just crack on with the end of Poe's movement. And this again, I think, makes me a little bit sad. So Poe does a barrel roll, their boosts. I think you just miss him.
But I think we're back on the thing like because you have to keep prime thruster in to avoid the shots, you can never catch a break.
Yeah,
I think is the problem you're in.
And then what I've done here for this last turn is shot myself in the foot with my dead ship.
Oh yeah, there's a gas cloud there. No. Except there isn't. There's a debris cloud.
Exactly. The gas cloud is there, and if that frigging cargo chute hadn't been there, I would have just 2-banked to the right behind it, or through it. Sorry, and then sat behind it, because that's probably the best case scenario I have on this turn. But because I'm an idiot and dumped a bloody chute there when I should have boosted with Ray, I can't do that.
Because now you can't even go through it because you'll just get the stress back. Like, even if you were willing to roll against the crit, you'll get the stress back.
I know. It's like, yeah. Oh, hindsight's such a beautiful thing.
So essentially, the 4 points you spent on the rig cargo chute should have been a shield, which would have then meant you wouldn't have had the crit go through at the beginning.
I know. I so nearly put either a shield or a stealth device on her. But yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, is an insight into my Ray building, which is why I always take a shield. Less chance of that crit.
Yeah, so you always take a shield. Up until now, I've always taken stealth. And I was just like, let's try something new. And yeah, okay.
No, never try new things.
Try something new.
Especially new rules.
To be fair, neither of us knew that was happening when we list built. So
no, that's fair.
But yeah, it's fun. It was interesting to try it. And that's when Sam rewound the game.
Oh yeah, I accidentally rewound the game because I was clicking in the top left of the screen to assign something.
Now, if I could have 2-banked through that gas cloud, I would have been happy as Larry, because Sam's just turned around and I could have disappeared off, got rid of all my stress, but no.
Why didn't you too hard the other way?
Because I still think that would have gone through the edge of the gas cloud.
Would it?
So the debris field. I think it would have just clipped the debris. Otherwise, I would have.
Okay.
I try a barrel roll in the vain effort.
I think that might even have been worth it going through it, because I guess you didn't know where I was going in it. Like, in ultimate hindsight, like, I'm double stressed facing the exact opposite direction. That would give you a couple of turns break to clear that stress and get going.
I honestly
didn't. Have you used your slam at any point?
No.
No.
I can't. I've been stressed, haven't I? So
been stressed since like turn 4.
It only allows you to do boost or barrel rolls.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That'll be why then.
I didn't
Okay.
think Maul could turn around there. I thought the template for the two sleep would just clip the rock. Obviously, it doesn't.
I mean, I don't want to burst your bubble, but even if I was going through that rock, I still would have turned around.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, but that's your choice.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have pegged it, but then that's, I suppose,
Like,
me.
admittedly, it's only because I'm in the situation I'm in where I can take a
Yeah.
roll on that thing.
Yeah. And yeah,
Because I still have a proton torpedo.
I was hoping as well with the double reposition to get out of arc, and I did the barrel roll, and I thought it was just enough, and it's not. It's like half a ship base in. If I'd done the 2 bank to the right with the prime thrusters boost, that would have been enough.
Yeah, of course.
And then actually, I think with where Sam is, I probably have enough turns to dive behind that rock and relieve my stress.
I actually disagree. I think if you had landed the boost, I'd probably just kill you next turn.
You reckon?
Yeah, because like scimitars have they have the blue 2 bank, so like Maul could just go exactly back to where he was except unstressed.
Yeah.
And like I don't really see a way you can get so far out of my range that you're not getting shot each turn.
So if it's done a 2 bank boost, a 2 hard to bring you down towards the board edge, barrel roll win, 2 bank boost, you're almost behind that rock. There, yeah. Maybe.
Either way,
But then,
we never found out.
well, that's it. I mean,
because,
they were
the proton torpedo is coming in.
Red Horn torpedoes coming
Another
in.
one.
Surprise, surprise! It's 4 hits.
4 out of 4.
I love that. Right. So 3 blanks and a focus become 2 crits and 2 hits because there's just an
Of course.
obscene amount
Target
of
lock and
force.
full
on them.
force.
And I don't even bother rolling defense dice because he's dead. So 42 minutes left on the clock.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was...
200-0.
And it was literally that one turn where I chose to shoot Maul and I didn't, I suppose, commit either way.
Do you
with
know what's
Ray.
funny to me? Is if I hadn't let you redo your action, you probably would have been better off.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that's fine. That's why we practice.
I like Sam's list. There doesn't seem to be any wasted upgrades or points on it. I think obviously I'm only saying that because we've obviously gone through your list a lot, Sean. And Sam's hasn't had any attention. But looking at it, apart from the fact they're the wrong non-small base ship that the Separatists have, I think for as far as you go as building those ship infiltrators, then I think you've done a good job of it.
Hey, fire sprays can't take proton torpedoes.
No, but they've got a rear arc and they're just better.
My rear arc is my bomb.
Well, funny enough, fire sprays have that.
No, they don't. I'm sure we don't have the payload. Those are lies.
As far as your list building's gone, I think every upgrade you've got has its place, and it's not there. You're not like the whole list is a giant shenanigans, but they're serving a purpose. I don't think it's trying to create a unique situation. So at least you've got that on your side.
I mean, I will admit my goal with building the list was like I want to fire proton torpedoes and then also another attack. In the case of Dooku, he can fire a second proton torpedoes, and in the case of Maul, he just fires his primary.
Yeah, and it's good.
And hot tip for any Separatist players: if you have a ship with a crew and 1 agility, and you're deciding between Hull Upgrade and General Grievous, take General Grievous if you have any other ships in your list, because he's just straight better than Hull Upgrade. Because he's 1 charge that gets rid of a hit or crit, basically like a Hull Upgrade, and that charge can come back if you lose other ships. So if Like I spent the hull upgrade. I spent the Grievous charge in this game. If Maul had died, great. Count Dooku just got another hull upgrade.
Have you considered running Maul with then Grievous crew instead of hull upgrade, and then actual Zam with Dooku crew,
Yes.
and then fill in the points instead? Because then you've got
Yes.
two i5s that are really strong that you don't do either of them. Like, don't get me wrong, Dooku you don't want to shoot really because he's got Zam on there as well. But I feel that the actual Zam in a fight would maybe be more long-term effective. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, chip in everyone else.
I don't know. It's
please.
hard to say because basically Zam with Count Dooku is 98 points, so I have 2 points to spend on Zam, unless I want to strip some stuff off Maul.
Right. Okay. But you could move the seismics over,
Yeah, I mean,
and then that's essentially an effective Zam.
yeah. I mean, I could also like take the seismic off and put like a slightly better bomb onto Zam. Because if I take the seismic off, so I've got 5 points. I mean, there is an argument for losing the proton torpedoes on Maul, but they're scary and dangerous.
No, they do. They do so much work.
Like, it's really hard to say because I look at the Zam with 5 points of like, there's no upgrades there, and is Zam good enough on her own with Dooku? Possibly.
With thermals.
Yeah. Yeah, so like it would be Zam with Duke and thermals, and then Maul with Hate, Proton Torps, General Grievous, and Palpatine. That's 200 points. It probably is better, but it doesn't feel better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. There's more shenanigans because obviously you can fit more onto Dooku.
Yeah.
Which then maybe takes people off guard because people don't expect the infiltrators, forgetting how they were like when they were first introduced.
I mean, they're almost back to how they were like back then. Hate is significantly down.
Should we wrap this up before the entire third of the podcast is you guys list building?
Sorry.
I mean, I guess.
Okay,
You can list build once we finish recording. It's fine.
Sorry.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you for listening, as always, or watching if you're on YouTube. We will be streaming this Tuesday. Not sure what we'll be streaming yet, but we'll definitely be streaming
something
fun. And yeah, we're the Tins have got GSP all around next weekend, and also the Curtain All Stars finals. So I'm sure we'll be having a quick recap of those.
I believe there are some tins in the qualifiers for the next All Stars as well.
Yeah, I'm heading up for that one.
So yeah, we'll have a chat and see how the Tins get on.
Yeah, it's not a bad wrap up for how the Tins are doing.
So yeah, thank you, Chris, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Sean. Sorry we didn't really let you get a word in edgeways.
All good.
On that note, I'll just say goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye. Cheers and gone.
Yeah. Question is, do I take this list to Curtain?
No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Take it, because I'll just take something that can beat it. It's fine. Look, if I tech against you two and John Vickery, that's like 3/4 of the final. So.